Literature, History, and Philosophy in the Bible. Eastern Courier, the 28th of October 2023. Generally speaking, people refer to all humanities as liberal arts. Content covers literature, history, and philosophy. So it was also referred to as literature, history, and philosophy, becoming an independent vocabulary. It has evolved with human civilization and has become fully mature. Its literature is overwhelming, and its works are piled up like mountains, and it has become deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. In civilized society, as a universal value, it has long been popularized in children's basic education. In practical applications, they often have clear themes, but refer to each other. If you were to pre-select a masterpiece, that is the most independent, oldest, most popular, and most rigorous, then you can be sure that it is the Bible. The Bible is an independent chapter, written by more than 40 authors from different countries and eras. They were later selected and bound together. Although its versions and translations will be similar, it is indisputable and the best-selling book in the world. Its value lies in 1. For believers, it is the cornerstone of religious belief. 2. For non-believers, it is a well-documented historical record. 3. For liberal arts scholars, it is a key to unlocking the door. 4. For science and engineering scholars, it is the science of sciences. 1. Literary nature of the Bible, including narrative literature, poetry, wisdom literature, prophetic literature, prose, etc. Its first Genesis was written in 1500 BC. The author is the famous Master Moses. The last book of Revelation was written by the Apostle John in the late 1st century 90s. 1. Most of its Old Testament was written in ancient Hebrew. 2. His New Testament was basically written in ancient Greek. 3. Since Greek was the most popular language at that time, many ancient Hebrew manuscripts were later translated into Greek. 4. When Christianity was adopted as the state religion by the Holy Roman Empire, it was uniformly translated into Latin. 5. Now it has been translated into more than 3,000 languages. 6. The Bible is full of poetry and rhetoric. 7. The most commonly used rhetorical methods are metaphor, parallelism, confrontation, and comparison, used to increase the appeal and clarity of language. Many existing literary, artistic, and audiovisual works are based on biblical stories. In addition, the Bible also left many word classics to future generations, including idioms and quatrains. For example, 1. Trinity, 2. Gate of Heaven. 3. Lost and Found. 4. Knowing the law and breaking the law. 5. Repay good for evil. 6. For whom the bell tolls. 7. The blind lead the blind. Comparing China's earliest literary works from the Shang and Zhou dynasties, which originated in the 11th century BC, such as the Book of Songs, Shangshu, Chuqi, and Zhuozhuan. It is obvious that the Bible is older and more comprehensive. The three Renaissance masters of the 15th and 16th centuries, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Raphael, were the world's top messengers of biblical culture. Great painters, great artists, and in fact non-scriptural apostles of the Bible. Their sculptures and paintings are so beautiful and so perfect that they are still difficult to surpass to the historicity of the Bible, including the historical, cultural, and religious interpretation process of the ancient Middle East Mediterranean region. 1. It records many important historical events, characters, and culture. 2. The Old Testament includes the history, traditions, and religious laws of the Jews, especially the origin of the Jews, from the creation classics to the escape from Egypt, from the book of Joshua to the Canaanite conquest, and also includes historical books, such as Samuel, Kings, and Chronicles, records the rise and fall of the ancient Jewish kingdom. 3. The New Testament focuses on the Gospels and Acts. They record the history of Christianity's early activities, includes the life, teachings, crucifixion, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, describes the missionary methods and experiences of the disciples, as well as the missionary activities of the Apostle Paul. 4. The Bible contains the culture of the ancient Middle East Mediterranean region, including social structure, religious etiquette, laws and regulations, and customs. 5. Many archaeological discoveries and historical research have confirmed the existence of some events and places described in the Bible. These discoveries help confirm the historicity of the Bible and thus contribute to the understanding of its historical background. Regarding the origin and development of human beings, modern genetic technology has confirmed 1. All human beings in the world have a common mother. 2. Human migration routes are consistent with genetic deduction. 3. Race and language are created by the environment. For example, majority of Jews is of white European descent, but one of its 12 tribes left Egypt, turned a corner and went to Ethiopia. Although they have never intermarried with the locals, they now look the same as the native Africans. 3. The philosophical nature of the Bible. 1. Expounds the existence, characteristics, and divinity of God, as well as His wisdom, omnipotence, mercy, and justice. 2. It includes teachings on morality and ethics, which has a huge contribution and profound significance to early philosophy. 3. Proposed philosophical questions and answers about the origin, purpose, and destiny of human beings, as well as human original sin and fall, as well as the relationship between belief in the soul and salvation. 4. Advocate for freedom of religion and belief. Encourage people to maintain their unconditional faith in God. At the same time, we must also respect the belief choices of others. 5. Contains philosophical thoughts about the creation of the universe and prophecies of the end of the world. Covers the origin, purpose, and end of the universe. 6. Classics of wisdom literature, such as Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Songs, include philosophical teachings on wisdom, life, love, and happiness. 7. Some people call Jesus, Muhammad, and Socrates the three great philosophers of the ancient West. I thought it was inappropriate. After all, their thoughts focus on different directions, and they lived in different eras. Therefore, the master-disciple relationship is objectively presented. It is difficult to compare and contrast across generations. The Bible also contains discourses, principles, and teachings about war and peace. 1. Peace and charity. The Bible has many teachings on peace, love, and forgiveness. For example, Jesus Christ emphasized loving your enemies. In the New Testament, these teachings encourage believers to pursue peace, forgiveness, and goodwill rather than violence and hatred. 2. Self-defense and justice. The Bible also contains some situations about self-defense and justice. For example, the wars the Israelites fought against their neighbors in the Old Testament were considered actions directed by God to defend their land and religious beliefs. This was seen as a just fight and was motivated by the need for self-defense. 3. Reconciliation and mediation. The Bible has many teachings on ways to mitigate conflict and promote reconciliation. These teachings include the resolution of disputes based on understanding, mediation, and goodwill. For morals and ethics, the Bible also provides principles regarding morals and ethics, can guide individual and social behavior, thus promoting peace. This includes moral codes of conduct, such as not killing, not stealing, not bearing false witness, etc. 5. Oppose violence and hatred. Many texts in the Bible clearly oppose violence and hatred, emphasizing forgiveness, kindness, and love. Urge people to abandon violence and pursue reconciliation. In that era when there were neither private schools nor study rooms, where did the wisdom of the characters in the Bible come from? This is probably a mystery in many people's minds, especially the New Testament, which is closest to us in time. The author was either a tax collector or a fisherman who went to sea. Even Jesus himself was just a carpenter. But in those days, all carpenters were skilled craftsmen and were in urgent need. Even if it is not called the pillar of the country, it must be a phoenix in the world. Even when Genghis Khan slaughtered all directions and massacred the city, he did not forget to be merciful to the local craftsmen and spare others under the knife. The reason is simple. Talents are rare. The core of the Old Testament lies in the Pentateuch. The core of the New Testament lies in the four Gospels. They can all work together to form a book, or they can stand alone in the world. The Pentateuch, in particular, is the common belief of all monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. In today's Middle East, which is full of smoke and dust, people in the world should abandon their prejudices, emancipate their minds, and launch a three-dimensional and all-round release of the Bible. It will definitely be a panacea, and it will definitely have the miraculous effects of reducing blood pressure, releasing fire, reducing swelling, and relieving pain. For before the 15th and 16th centuries, the authority of the Bible reached an unshakable peak, but later, after the Bible was translated into many languages, people could read it directly and understand it at will. This resulted in splitting into different factions. Due to different viewpoints, there are more than 2,000 registered sects so far. The most direct result of confusion in thinking is the plummeting of the authority of the Bible. Then 1. Doubt and denial are rampant. 2. Disobedience and betrayal occur. It is precisely the collapse of faith that leads to the automatic lifting of violent restraints. So 2 world wars broke out. The saddest thing is that churches in various countries actually support their own government's wars. To this day, many people still miss the peaceful and prosperous age when the Bible was absolutely authoritative. Unfortunately, the clock can be reversed, but time cannot be rewinded. Human beings must bear the consequences of their own mistakes. As the old saying goes, anyone who calls for war will receive the most vicious curse from God. The number of Christians today accounts for 1/3 of the world's population. The key is that it is full of developed areas in Europe and America. Therefore, returning to the original intention of the Bible is of extremely important significance, especially in today's era when natural disasters and man-made disasters occur at the same time. When you open your eyes to see the world, you feel like 1. Children's IQ, 2. Fratricide, 3. Regression of civilization, 4. Heartbroken. Regarding Genghis Khan, there are 2 major mysteries that have remained unsolved for centuries. 1. Why were the Mongols able to conquer cities and territories with only 1,000 troops and become invincible. 2. Why did the Mongols change from tigers that used to eat people with their bloody mouths to sick cats that are now afraid of aggressiveness? Fiends relies in 1. The Mongolians in the past did not even have writing. They were primitive, barbaric, and killed without blinking an eye. They were no different from animals. Conquered nations succumbed, not to force but to brutality. Genghis Khan knew that he could not escape the curse, so he left no portrait when he was alive, and no tomb when he died. 2. The Mongols in the future were civilized, evolved, and converted to Buddhism. He truly practiced put down the butcher's knife and become a Buddha immediately. At this point, the literary, historical, and philosophical thoughts of the Bible have been perfectly interpreted by the Mongols.